was recently divorced, and I met this guy here, and we've been together ever since 1971.
Oh, that's wonderful.
So, and he was not. I'd been married twice before, and it's very hard to find a man who can deal with a woman who's a musician, maybe an artist of any kind. So.
Yeah, well, obviously there has to be an appreciation for the work of your wife or spouse,
right?
In order to survive, because anyone who is in an art or any creative field is going to be passionate about it. So you've got to share.
That's true, and in this field, I mean, there's a lot of other factors too, because you're away a lot.
Yeah.
You have admiring fans, so any jealousy is.
Yeah.
A lot of times I see situations where people fall in love with musicians because they're musicians, mm-hmm. and then they want them to quit.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, you were not earning enough money from music, were you then, not to have a day job as well, as most creative artists?
Actually, on and off I was. There were
wonderful.
Long years there where I only made a living from my music. Not a good living, but when I realized that my daughter was going to be wanting to go to college, then I did need to take a day job.
Oh.
So I did, and I programmed computers for different companies, which had been a hobby, actually. I was interested in computers. And, boy, you can make a lot of money doing that. Yeah, so I put my daughter through school, and then I quit. I went back into music.
Where along the line did you meet Gay Adegbalola?
Actually, quite soon after I moved to Fredericksburg, I was playing... Actually, she says that I met her at a party, and I probably did, but it totally went out of my mind. I can't imagine that I wouldn't remember her. She's so memorable. But she used to come hear me play at various places that I was playing around town. And after a while, she asked me to give her guitar lessons. But I was reluctant to, because I don't play properly. You know, I don't know the names of the notes. I don't know the names of the chords. I don't think at all. It's all by something else. So I felt like she needed to learn correctly.
Sure.
So I suggested several people, and 3 years of hounding later, I said, okay. In that time, we'd become friends. And I started to give her lessons, and not too soon after, that was I think 1977, 78. And I actually moved away for a short time and moved to Richmond. Came back, I guess, in 79, and we started to do occasional, you know, the Unitarian Fellowship would call and say, could we play for them, and we would. And a lot of it was, you know, Gay did poetry readings and little vignettes from theater, and I played music, and then sometimes I would back her up, and sometimes it evolved slowly.
So that was the beginning of Sapphire.
That was the beginning of Sapphire.
And when did you become a trio?
I guess in 1984, I was actually teaching a class at Germana, and this woman in the class, her father died, and she couldn't take the final exam. So I said, you know, I'll give you the exam at your house. And then I realized she had a piano, so I said, can you take the exam upstairs, and my friend and I will, you know, play, because by then I was playing piano. Sure. So she took the exam, she did very well. This is Earlene Lewis. And then she came downstairs and picked up a bass and started playing along. And I think Gay had a call for a job. One of us had a call for a job at the Holiday Inn that was too big for just two people, she felt, or I felt. So we asked Earlene to join us for that night. And they kept asking us back. And then other people asked us. So, you know, it was not intentional that Sapphire was a trio, that we were all women. None of that was intentional. It just
evolved.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. Well, there's no doubt that Sapphire has made an impact on not only this community, but everywhere you've performed.
I'm always shocked. I mean, I played with Sapphire at a festival a few years ago that was a tribute to women in blues. And two women, totally on their own, different women who I thought of as being very successful in the blues, came up to me and said, "I want to thank you for pioneering the way for us. We wouldn't have been there, you know."
Wow.
Which was shocking to me.
Yeah,
I'm still
yeah.
sort of amazed. And you know now that this is our last year.
I know, I
Yeah.
read that, and it seems impossible.
Yeah.
But I know that everyone has other
We all
things
have
to
other
do.
directions
Yeah,
we're going
yeah.
in. And,
when did you start actually touring with the group? And
we started full-time touring in 1988, which was the year my daughter graduated from college.
I'm done.
Right. That's it. I mean, there's this country song, "Take This Job and Shove It," that I didn't sing to my boss, but I had planned this. And in fact, I hadn't planned on it being Sapphire. I had planned on me going on the road. And I told the two of them, I'm going to do this, and I'll be happy to find you somebody else to replace me, but I'm going to do this. If you want to come along, fine. Never thinking. I mean, Gay was Teacher of the Year. I mean, she had a career, and Earlene had a career, and I was the nut in the bunch that was, But they did. They each of them took a leave of absence for a year. Put their toe in, and that was the end of any timidity about it.
Well, you, as you performed as a group, though, you also continued to
Yes.
do individual
Oh, yeah.
work, didn't you?
Yes, all along. When Sapphire was working all the time, I still could fit in a job or two a month, and then Sapphire started doing less due to different people having different issues at home. So I just upped my solo career and did more and more. I hadn't recorded prior to Sapphire. Actually, you'll love this because it's a theater reference, but I always thought about Mary Martin and how she wouldn't allow herself to be videotaped because she felt that would interfere with live theater. And I kind of felt that way about live music. And as it turns out, I was right. But after I'd been with Sapphire for a while, we did record. And I decided maybe I better do some recording too, because I felt so angry with people before me who hadn't recorded enough. So I thought maybe I better do that.
Yeah,
So I have done 3 solo recordings since Sapphire started, and I've done a lot of touring. And I've also been on a lot of other people's recordings. Cephas and Wiggins and Pinetop Perkins, and, even Adi DeFranco.
No, that's not a name I know.
Adi DeFranco is, she's a very, very popular folk singer who does not do blues, but she wanted a blues piano for this one song that she did, so they called me.
Ah, great. Well, let me call you now.
Yes.
And have you play and or sing for us, your choice. Do you have a favorite piece or one that you...
I do have
especially
a lot of favorite pieces, but they're all on the piano. But I'll tell you what I'll do. Prior to moving to Fredericksburg, I never wrote a single song. I always rearranged other people's songs. But the first year I was in Fredericksburg, I wrote my first 2 songs. So how about if I play you my first song?
Wonderful.
It's called Annie's Blues.